What's up fam, my name is Tech and welcome to my Mass Effect 3 multiplayer guide for the Turian soldier. In this video, I intend to document my research on the class and hopefully spread awareness that people are still playing this game. I'll be starting by going over the racial passives and then the active abilities. Following that, I'll give you a build you can try to start off with the class. And as always, links to useful information will be in the description. The Turian soldier fills mostly the same function as the human soldier, however where the Turian shines is in bringing out the potential of both middling and great weapons. Turian classes have reduced mobility as they cannot roll outside of cover. In order to compensate for that, they have higher than average shields at 750 minimum. Aside from not being able to roll, the rest of their movement and melee is pretty standard. Its fitness tree provides a higher boost to durability than the human one as well, further compensating for the lack of mobility. When maxed out for durability, this one gives 90% health and shields as opposed to 65. And finally, Turian Veteran focuses more on weapon damage and stability over power damage, although a few power bonuses are optional. Now onto the active abilities. Marksman is what makes this class shine. It's one of only two classes that have it, but arguably this one uses it better. On activation, you'll instantly reload your magazine if using a weapon that uses bullets, while increasing your fire rate and accuracy. Weapons that have heat instead of bullets will not refund the whole mag, but will instantly start the cooldown without the animation. This is a very simple ability, but it has quite a strong effect. It can make nearly any semi or fully automatic weapon much more powerful. Though it doesn't give a damage boost like Adrenaline Rush, it increases DPS through fire rates. It also tightens the bullet spread of any gun, which increases the effective range. This makes short-range weapons like shotguns or SMGs like the Piranha or the Hurricane much more effective at mid or possibly even long range. It is important to note Marksman has no effect on recoil, so try to use dampener mods on weapons with high recoil. Since this ability is so important to the class, I recommend keeping your weapon weight low to average. How much you like this class will depend on what weapon you like to synergize with Marksman, so you might want to try out a bunch. Your second ability is Concussive Shot. This one is identical to the human soldiers. TLDR, it's a very fast projectile that detonates on all but biotic combos on a very low cooldown. It can be spec'd for damage, but for the purposes of this class is primarily used for CC, as it will stagger most if not all infantry enemies. It knocks down anything unprotected and can be spec'd to stagger enemies in a radius. Your final active ability is Proximity Mine. When you cast this ability, you'll shoot out a mine in a straight line at your crosshair. It'll stick to most surfaces and will arm itself about a second after contact. This ability has a variety of uses, such as guarding your flank, doing solid AoE damage to groups, or even weakening enemies. While I feel this can be a strong ability, because it has a longer cooldown and setup time than Concussive Shot, it fights for priority with Marksman. Because of this, I personally choose to pass on this ability for more durability and fitness, but running this is definitely viable if you want to use it. So how do you build the class? The perks you choose will be dependent on what weapons you choose to run, so definitely experiment on your own. But here's what I've been running recently. I'll start with my choice of weapon, since that will dictate a few of the perks. I really like the Aegis anti-synthetic rifle as it deals pretty consistent damage to most defenses. It also has an AoE that can stagger most infantry and even some heavies. And it has some tracking, which makes accuracy perks less necessary. With this, max out Marksman taking duration and both firing rate perks. The reason we're taking duration over headshots is that the Aegis rifle is not able to get headshots, therefore the perk is useless here. If you were using another highly accurate weapon, headshots would likely be better. Using Marksman with this weapon will tear through any infantry while staggering them, reducing the damage you take. It can also deal a significant chunk of damage to heavies. Then take Concussive Shot with Force and Damage, Shatter, and Hammer. These perk choices are also specific to the Aegis rifle. Since it has an AoE, it's really good with cryo rounds as it can potentially freeze multiple targets at once. And with this setup, you can deal a lot of AoE damage to clumped enemies. A more general perk selection for other weapons would be Radius, Recharge Speed, and Hammer. This selection allows for very fast CC. Then for Turian Veteran, take Weapon Damage, Power Damage, and Damage and Stability. Here you take Power Damage for the same reason as before, headshots being useless with this weapon. And then take all the durability perks and fitness. Your gear and ammo bonuses are as flexible as the amount of weapons you can use. You'll want to tailor them to the weapon. Incendiary and warp rounds are always a good choice as you don't have any inherent way of dealing with armor. Again, cryo rounds are also a good choice on any weapon that deals AoE damage. And disruptor rounds can help strip shields and prime for tech bursts. I've even tried explosive rounds on the Aegis, which increases damage and AoE potential. There are a lot of weapons to choose for this class, and again I encourage you to experiment with a lot of them. Some of them like shotguns benefit most from accuracy and stability boosts. Others with high damage and lower fire rate like the Aegis benefit more from fire rate. Some low damage and high accuracy weapons like the Faceted benefit most from headshot damage boosts. And some of the already best weapons in the game, like the Harrier, just get better all around with this class. Before playing this class, I was pretty new to Turians, and I learned that not having rolls is much more significant than you might guess. You have to be much more deliberate with your movement than you would otherwise, and you must learn to position defensively. You're also far more susceptible to instant kills by phantoms and others, so keeping distance from them is much more important. As a Turian soldier, you're probably most equipped to deal with Cerberus. Most of their units are infantry and can be disrupted with Concussive shot. Also, despite being able to instant kill you, phantoms have barrier and health, which Concussive shot deals with both. You can also get away with collectors. Most of their problematic enemies are slow and you can easily get sustained fire on them, and doing primarily weapon damage means you're not so hampered by collector swarms. However, the ones that will give you trouble are Scions. Their cluster grenade ability is very difficult to dodge with no roll. This class can get a lot of value out of playing with another one that keeps it alive in the face of close range threats. If you're looking for one of those, check out my guide on the Geth Engineer. If you like this video, please drop a like so the YouTube algorithm lets other people know this game is still being played. And if you want to continue learning this game with me, I'll be making more of these guides in the future. Later fam.